Big weekend for NASCAR as a whole. 2023 NASCAR Championship weekend is finally here. You know, it really did start like 9 months ago. Like as crazy as it sounds, it started forever ago. Um, I'm sad to see it go, but I'm excited for things to come and to see what improvements they make on the damn car ahead of next season. Because there are a bunch, short track stuff, road course stuff, especially like they figured out the car. Now no one wrecks anywhere. And now they're getting rid of stage racing. They're going to put, stage ending cautions back on road courses, apparently. Either you pit for the win before the caution or you pit during, go for stage points. Like, that's pretty much, it's not racing with only two strategies. But hell do I know? I'm just a dude sitting here in a straight brimmed hat, drinking a Bang, which I thought went bankrupt. They didn't have any monsters, so had no options because Red Bull suck. But again, last weekend we're going to go over, straight how I feel about each person, why I feel, who I hope to win, per situation. Because, there's a few situations where, I have a few people I'd like to see win would be okay with. So a bunch of stuff to go over in a short amount of time. We're going to start off NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series 2023 Championship. And they've all made their claims as to why they should be champion. Again, I have a few picks for different reasons. So I'm going to do them all. I explain why I at least would be okay with each of them winning it. Because I think there's actually, for the first time, some pretty decent, battles all the way across the board as to who, we think can do it. A lot more opportunities for a lot more teams, which is really cool. Start off with Ben Rhodes, former champion of the series. I'm going to say he hasn't looked championship material more times than, anyone else in the championship for, I believe. Been at least consistent, recently out of them, in my opinion, just with, things that happen. So I think he's got the least chance of anything, but all it takes is one thing, and he can get it because he has done it before, former champion. So it's one of those I'd be okay with it. I just don't see him being in the battle to be that person unless unforeseen circumstances happen. If they just go out from how they've been running, he'll be up there, but I don't think he'll be anywhere near up there to be able to get it. Out of the four of them, Corey Heim, been terrifyingly fast at times at some tracks. I mean, Mr. Race still ended up winning the regular season, championship, got points over first year for Tricon Garage. Don't want to see him, give one to TRD. It's because how they treat, everyone, whether you're on your way out, just anything. Like, they're just really weird about everything anymore. And he's my least, favorite out of all of them. No offense to Corey, super talented. I just see where he's going, and that sooner or later always means just pretentious dick driving for Joe Gibbs. So, talented, super talented. It's like Jesse Love, crazy talented. And I think he's definitely got one of the two best chances to win it. I think it's going to come down to him or Hocevar. Again, time will tell. But he's definitely on the list. Again, Grant Enfinger, there's a few things. Your future is unknown as far as I know from any of this. I've been out of the loop, some medical stuff, all that. But, last race for GMS Racing before they hang it up. Been in the series for a long time. And wouldn't it be a perfect story for GMS, in their last race ever to ride off into the sunset with the Grant Enfinger Championship that I'm pretty confident saying that at least 90+% of the people out there didn't even see coming at the beginning of the season. So that would be, the sentimental value. He has shown speed at some places. I just don't think, here at this type of track that necessarily suits him, the greatest. But he surprised us this year with some runs that he's had. So we'll see. And then it comes to Carson Hocevar. I think he has the talent for a while. I think he's had the talent for years. But he's like Riley Herbst at the end of the season, even though Riley, got, once he has let all the other stuff out of his head and worried about him, he won races. He looked really good. Granted, I can't even say what I was going to say, because Stuart Haas, Cole is still out there, doing better than, Riley at times. I just think that Stuart Haas as a whole entire, in general, last 4 weeks or so of 2020 on hasn't looked the same, but he finally just let things go. And I think Carson Hocevar's in that and just worrying about what he could do, not overdriving things, not being stupid. And that brings you a really long way in this game. I think he's been super consistent through it all. Be a great send-off for a great truck career. And with the championship off to the Cup Series. And again, I think he's proven himself and earned that ride with everything, he's done. And in his Cup starts, he's been very impressive, except for, when bad things happen. He ran top 10 in Darlington. Like, he's done fantastic things. He earned the ride. No matter how you feel about, certain things happening, but I think it's long overdue. I still don't get Ty Dillon, but, good to see it. And it'd be a great way for him to end it off. So I'm okay with any of them. I just think that, Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger aren't going to be in it. I think it's going to be between Heim and Hocevar. And I really want it to be Carson, but if Heim wins, no one would be surprised. Let's say it that way. So that comes down to that. Again, told you, I have few people like in all of these, just because the way they've all run all year, which gets us onto the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer, personally, been saying it forever, should have stayed in the Xfinity Series longer, but they called him up because there was an open spot and it was the easiest choice, even if he wasn't ready anywhere near. No offense to him. Should have stayed at Xfinity. Started slower than expected, but once he's come on. He just re-signed, which is all the greatness in the world, when it comes to just getting things done. And, I think they finally have it figured out. And I think he's bringing his Cup experience, no matter how good or bad it was, into this. And I think that helps just from being on different stages. So, he's on the list. John Hunter, he also got the shaft by being called up way too early. And he was in a car that you literally wasn't doing anything at the time. No offense to front row, but they were nowhere near what they are now. And, he had to build himself back up. Should have he had a truck championship by now? Hell yes. But he couldn't close the deal then. So now that brings us up to tomorrow. Or whenever you, are listening to this, could be post all of it. But, I wouldn't be surprised if he figured it out. I'm just not, sold on him. But he's been right up there the whole entire time. And we know he can drive here. He's going up to drive for Legacy. It's a whole other story. I'm not getting into it. But, I think he can get it done and be a great send-off. I'm just not sure if that's how it's going to go down. Justin Allgaier, been in the series far too long, not have a championship, has the career and talent to put it off, has the car to put it off, has the team to pull it off. And JRM, Jim Motorsports, JRM has come on strong. Would love it to be him because I just don't see it right with him retiring without getting one. Will it happen? God knows, but that's just the way I feel about it. And he deserves to get one before it hangs up. I don't think he's going to get it. So he's not any, top of my list in this one. Just because, so many times it hasn't worked, but he's still, I would not be surprised if he did it just because Junior Motorsports, where they are and, the experience and everything that everyone has. I'm just excited that we're going to have, new champion, which is really cool in there no matter what. And God bless Justin Allgaier because, there's 3 Junior Motorsports cars last year. Ty Gibbs still beat them, which is still wrenching my heart. But that gets us to the Cup Series. I think any of them can end up getting this. But Christopher Bell, car and talent, ran his way in before, ran his way in this time. Could end up getting it. That's not how the cars are. And all of that because they weren't the best, manufacturer out there, last year. So we'll see. He has the talent. He earned his way winning all those races to advance last year. He earned his way in. This time the talent's there. Just got to see how, especially the pit crew, because, they did the swap. Some teams, people here and there, Gibbs always does the pit crews, but it hasn't been the result that they expected. So that's a big thing. In all this, look at Larson, got out front in that one, got a championship. Makes a difference in this game. So we'll see. Byron, he has the raw talent and the speed to get it done, has the car behind him. Wasn't as hot lately as was the beginning of the season, let's say, for any of them really. And Hendrick, but Byron's been the shining star of it. He's, super talented, especially with his, iRacing background, how he started and all of that. So he could get it. And I think they'll bring it regardless, but I got to see how, which Hendrick car shows up. And yes, I realize I'm a, schmuck and I forgot Sam Mayer in the Xfinity Series. So let's go back to that. Finally got the win. And then another finally got an oval win. I think he has the momentum. I'm just not sure, the experience, where he won't overdo something stupid and get himself in trouble in the situation just because of his age and experience and all that. I think that would be the biggest downfall to him, but I definitely think he's going to be one right up there, 1, 2, something like that, in the battle to get it in the end, because he's just on a roll and it's finally clicking. And that's a dangerous thing to have. Look at all the times where Jimmy looked terrible and then suddenly playoffs hit and zoom, gone. That's all it takes. Can't believe I forgot to mention him before, but he's definitely at the top. I think all four of them in Xfinity Series are going to be right there, but Sam Mayer thinks going to be towards the top of that. And I'll get back to the Cup Series because, I had to go and screw that one up. Told you I haven't done this in a while. Kyle Larson, love to see him get another one. He's gotten robbed a few times this year by Denny, and, he's made his own mistakes and screwed himself by just doing, stuff out of character, but it's still Kyle Larson and this type of racetrack and any racetrack. He's figured out how to run them all. It's just Kyle Larson here. I think that's super talented. It's just everything working out, him mistakes, Denny mistakes, errors, I'm going to call him that. Denny wrecked him twice. I'll still argue leaving someone two options to either smash the wall or let off and lose all their momentum in a bunch of spots. That's not racing. That's being an asshole. I'll say that repeatedly. Pardon my French, but we all know Denny is one. I'd like to see him get it. Again, I think he's more of an underdog going into it, just because, he's had those finishes, where he made a mistake once or twice, and then Denny took him away from wins that could have gave me another 3 or 4 on the season. He'd be coming in with a lot more momentum and a lot more steam, which is the big one, just because he's had so many things. I think he's going to be one of the top 2 battling for it. I think he's going to be right there. I just don't know exactly how to put it, but Hendrick has, 50-50 shot, and both drivers have the talent. And Byron, I think, is just because he hasn't, had the issues, got the wins to back it up, unlike Larson, which is why I think he's coming in behind Byron and, the expectations and all that, but still going to be great. And that gets us to Blaney, and Blaney's the big what if for me. I don't remember who I was talking to on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it. It was still Twitter at the time. Forever ago, that was a Blaney fan talking about him getting shafted on pit stops all the time. And if he was going to get any wins this year, I said he was going to get a few. Now look at us all the way to the championship 4. And what if? He's won his way here. He's got to be undoubtedly one of the hottest, drivers in the sport right now. He's figured something out. And last year, Joey Logano didn't have the best car. Joey Logano had the best car of the championship 4. And lucky enough, his teammate Blaney was the next best car, and he was a great blocker for him. So he didn't put him off to everyone behind him, and he could win the championship. And Blaney does that again. No one's going to be able to touch him because he was that good. And that's why I keep saying, what if? Lightning in a bottle can strike. I'm not sure what would have been it if he got in, and would have been the other way around. Because again, Blaney was the better car, and everyone could say Joey wouldn't have done it if Joey wasn't racing for the championship. And Blaney was in front of him, Joey would have been a blocker to do it if the shoe was on the other foot, because he is, a team guy with Penske, so I don't understand arguments with that. But what if all he has to do is, let lightning strike and execute? And I could be right, and I said he's going to win a few. I was all right, but he can go on and win the championship and the whole damn thing, and I wouldn't be surprised. Because again, momentum, and last year they were number 1. No doubt. And it was Joey Logano's greatest thing. So hopefully this year they could do that again, even though Joey hasn't looked the same. He admitted it. Ford, still hasn't. So maybe, this will keep some forward progression and trajectory with the Fords. But either way it turns out, I just hope there's great races. And again, really Corey Heim is the one big, just because I know what they're going to do. Super talented. Drove his ass off this year. Earned it. If he gets it. There's, Hocevar and them, just things I'd rather see. Judge me. Hate me. I don't care what you do. Grant Enfinger riding off like that and Hocevar going away are great stories. And I like great stories and stuff to ride off. But that's where I'm going to leave it. Let your voices be heard in the comments. Don't forget you can go on the Anchor, or Spotify for podcasters, whichever one comes up, link, and you could listen to it and leave voice messages for me. That's easy. And don't forget other platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Good Pods, which is doing good, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Audible, Overcast, YouTube, Rumble, and all the links, except for the Overcast, are available on the link tree. So make sure to check that out. The socials are the Jesse Rucinski Show everywhere except for X, which is Jay Rucinski Show. I've shared that link before. And again, the link tree has every single thing that you need for the show on there that I just did. So make sure to subscribe to the link tree on your favorite platforms, and you'll get notified whenever there's a show. I appreciate you. Share the bejesus out of it. I'll be back again after the championship races are settled. And until we meet again, friends, I appreciate it. Bye.